lo chu san ro war shen ja lab do sor chu lam dan ro war shen ja lab do sor lan ro wa ze war shen ja lab do sor ro wa ye ji san ja war shen ja lab do sor gang ge den jian de war jong ga ba me ba je me ba che ba me ba da me ba wa me ba ro me ba ta de do me dun je me ju ba ne je je den ba zo ba zan je ma nan je dam ba de la xiang za de dan nan dan ze ra dam je de la ma la ba la ye je zo zong lao zhuo yong den jiang zheng a la wan den zhe dong jian zhe be ge le zuo zhen jiang ze be la ma jie jie gu zong do jie xin lan da 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 ge yu lan pe de da ge dan ba dan zhen jie jie dong jia jian bang zhe ba ra xian jie lao de zuo ta tren je Gampopa Tenzin跟这边篮球人青春哇，的些不个人等等的啦ta chỉ tăng cái zapapter cái sumba tar de tharpalam ne tangbo tharpalam la tangbo ju bu go sumba na yin ke ta nga cho kanson ko an de ne thargo go yobayina tene te tharsa ge go na wote ngimjong ri sumbarwa tenin korwen ne tangbon drupal lam song tenin kowa ke kamsong kowa tene la dunga imba te hako botone dunga ke jamso tabe imba hako botone trugo ko yobayina tene trusaka lamda wote tene ngimjong ri sumbarwa teana yinke teni nyamni chuna kunch tampungo son de ta ngaranzo sanje ke chunda nyanso lenya la tomar de la che ninjong ke tsisimba che go yore sombare tenda enzang konke chumi ngimjong jula che war sho sombarewa ten de ngaranzo dandara chu xie chu ni tanda chi ge yo bare nen de kap so chi ngarang zu chame nduba dewa yin ba tang munduba dongha yin ba tanda indu ta dongha te le kanda be thar go gri chi ba ina tene nimjong ke samno te hundun ro go wa te kar chim bore sung gre.
So, as we continue with these teachings from Gampopa, which comprise the precious garland of the Supreme Path, to begin with, reflecting upon some words as was told by Zapatu Rinpoche, that in the beginning, that which really is the cause for entering the path to liberation, or that which really is the door through which one enters and on the way to liberation, that initial door, which is the door which recognizes the suffering of the three realms of samsara. So in order to reach or enter the door, the path which leads to liberation from the three realms of samsara, this door is renunciation, the mind of renunciation. First, understanding that samsara itself is an ocean, a great ocean of suffering. And in order to cross this ocean of suffering, then we need a boat. And the boat, this path that the boat travels which is the Dharma, is really initiated by this essential mind state of samsara. I'm sorry, not samsara, renunciation. So renunciation towards samsara. And so all the entry point of all the various practices, the door that enters or that leads is like the entryway to all the practices is renunciation. So first, when practicing the Buddha's Dharma, the Buddha Dharma, it is always based initially. So as the very sort of fundamental, most cause is the mind of renunciation. So that is why it is said, please may the mind of authentic, deep, authentic renunciation arise, or uncontrived renunciation arise in my mind stream. And so we all wish to have happiness, we all wish to avoid suffering. And in order to become free of suffering, in order to reach the state of unchanging happiness, first we must have a sense of real renunciation.
Then, kamsong korba ke dunga te sola che hinang dang ngamta je ne de ba main par then dami batang tumba ni la soba hakov shirap che uzela tinde then chamba ta hinji ke tu la tinde then ta che tanagang khowa dunga ke jamso yimba te hakov thoni then teleta dunga tele yon stroya ke thablam then minga thamjela tusang gomsum ta nyamni nango yobaris.
So with an attitude of real kind of fear or hesitation, or sort of fear and real almost terror of the three realms of samsara, and with this a sense of being absolutely convinced that one is willing to do whatever is necessary to get free. And then with the understanding of the truth of selflessness and emptiness and so on, with wisdom. So there's renunciation and wisdom, which understands the true nature. And then love and compassion, both of these then assisted by the minds of love and compassion. As one understands that samsara is an ocean of suffering, then one embarks upon the methods to become free through the practices of study, contemplation, and meditation.
Da data with tone nimjong samba. Jani je chanchuk sing dane samba. Dane dame bata tumani ke topoki hirabla sobate so ke simptoni dane ta gewa kanda kangrupa ina gewa te lapchewa. Dane sunam te nuba chewa. Dane driver te la pinto chewa dendra yongko yoba inzang. Dane ta ngarang so ke kulhong te jamnin je janjo ko sem dang teni dame ba to shirab la so ba ke tsisin je de karchim boris.
And then that which ensures that our efforts in accumulating or practicing virtue have become really vast, or that which ensures that our virtuous activities are rendered really powerfully meritorious, or they have great power, and the fruition is really immense. In order to ensure this, then we must have the pure motivation of love, compassion, and bodhicitta, and especially when this is supported then by the wisdom which realizes the truth of selflessness, then one's virtuous efforts become immensely vast and powerful in their reach.
Tani drink shoya de la mapamba charu chu nange yiba derwa. Tani tela garson do shuba ina nyumong yi hije sandep yin be mapang so. Ta de chirtan da ngarang so ta nyumong ba shiba de tani dunga kunje go ta bachi yimba tanda ga thoni lo jang de yong ko yobarwa re de ta ko de kapso ta nyumong ba ngo la te yong ba ina tani nyumong ko ngo de chuni yimba tani te tenda yin zang tani ngarang chola nyumong ba te ke nu chỉ cái yêu bari làm được ngang rồi cái nhiều mong bà den ngô mà hi bà cấp số ta nhiều mong bà cái nu chỉ cái yêu bà, thế này tên ra in sang ta nhiều mong bà cái thế này ngô thế học có用bà in á, thế này ta nhiều mong bà thế này ngang rồi là ý sĩ dữ là chỉ vào sẽ cái chỗ cha được yêu bà in sang, thế này ta mapang barsawa chure sumare.
So then in the text with regard to the things not to be abandoned, we are on the number 4. And so it says, the defilements, since the defilements are instrumental for cultivating wisdom, they must not be abandoned. And so, as we know, the defilements are actually the door for suffering, or the cause, the direct cause of suffering. However, when the essence of the defilements or afflictive emotions is directly seen, then their essence, their true essence, or their empty essence is understood to be the nature of dharmata. And so this, in order for this to be the case, then there has to be awareness or recognition of this essence. When the essence of the afflictive emotions is not recognized as such, then they cause harm, then they become harmful. But if the essence, the true essence is understood, then the afflictive emotions themselves can be transformed into wisdom. And so then they become, the defilements or the afflictions actually become a companion to the arising of wisdom. They become a companion on the path. And so therefore, in that case, they are not to be abandoned.
Tara new momba la so ba thamje ngo shi je te kar chimbori sungyo barwa te song du ta ngaran so Perna Hedang Davichil Samna Tangwaina. Ta Hedang ke Ngaransola Hedang control Shok Khenpo Jeyong Bokapso. Ani Hedang Ngo de la Te Yabaina. Then Hedang Ngo de Melong Yishi. Chado Yobaris. Ta Ngaranso Tetar Ta Mahi Bokapso. Ko Hedang Yingwang de Hyondro Yobari. Hedang Yingwang de Hyorde. Then Ngaranso ke Me Lanang de Zumba Na Yin. Soso ke Jiangna. Lakpa Sengro Atang. Ying Zubutola Pangbaina, Ying Lupo Tulola Suba Sengro. Tendakaran Jinji Yin de Bala. Tatelang around so good Tatang Hibaina. Tene Melona Yin. Usaveran Yin. Tenda Chad Yobain Zang. Ngaranso Hedang Ji on Bokapso. Tene Hedang Lansak Paro Ganza de Jundan Noncher de la. Tene Samno Matang Bar. Sosuke Hedang Ngo de la. Tatabaina. Tene Gantar Hedang Kurang Ngo de. Ngaranso Haku Yobari. Then Hedang Ngo de. Tene Hedang Ranjin Maimba. Hedang Ngo de Usaveran Yimba. O Teta Vichi Indu. Tene Teta Hako Songaina. Tene ta Gypsy Malaria Bak Sumbanangi. Yishi Yimba Tazu Shi Sumbanangi. Oh, Tanga Tata Pardo Control Mambo Langsong. Control Mambo Timba Yin. Chitanga control Gapo Mete Yinanga control Mambo Langsong. Tata Padung control Lamba Latin and Notre Mambo Zuya. Tata control Ngo la Tandu. Oh, control Lambo Capsuyang. Then he take control the Ngo de la Tahibaina. Ta control Lamba Teang. Susola Pintoya Joshiriha Samne Hako Goyobari Tendra Go Sungaina, Tenindana Sumbana Yinke, Numon Yishi Sande in Mapang, Son Tenin, Control Mixaka Pangoya Chechaka Yomares.
Gongta Devaniyo, Tene Tampo Milarabagi Yeshi Yimbagare.
Tazu Hi. Ta Ingave Hakoson. Tazu the Tanghave Hakoson Sungin order. Ta
Ngawo Hako Gogre.
Ta Yene Hakoson. Ta Tanghave Hakoson Semanoti.
Hakosongo. So, Deni Shimba de Megi Pe Sung Yorati Chatanko me Garegi me pena de sick dogroa dine rang laka sigere yangna me shimba lubo tulo sigere de yapoko maso
me rang around so me pena me ngak la pan changwa ina nga la pa tsain dogroa me tek tiniti me te ma ying zubo tola pamba ina ya ma ying zubo tsain dogroa zane
oh okay let's go down okay. So then number 4. Oh, we're still on number 4. Yes, we already mentioned that. So to understand, and we've spoken now many times about the necessity of recognition, recognizing the defilements when they arise, recognizing afflictive emotions, recognizing discursive thoughts. And so, for instance, if you take the example of anger, so when anger, say really strong hatred or anger arises, when the essence, the pure essence of that anger or hatred is seen, then it becomes the nature of mirror-like wisdom. When there is not the ability to look or penetrate directly the essence, the empty essence of that anger, then one falls under the control of the anger itself. One has then just completely become fallen under the control of the afflictive emotion as at the mercy of the defilements. And so then in that case, it's like if you touch a fire, if you try to grab a hold of fire, then you burn your own hand. And then if somebody else falls into the fire, then their body and they become burned by the fire. So we have to be able to see, to look in such a way at the afflictive emotion that we can see through it to its essence, its mirror-like essence. And then we see that the anger itself is the nature of clear light luminosity. If we give rise to anger, then the way to do this is not focusing on the object of the anger. So when something has caused you to become angry without really placing any importance on the object. So instead of what we ordinarily do, which is to focus on the faults of the other person or the way in which somebody else is wrong or mistaken, and so therefore this has become the cause for your anger to arise. Not giving any credit to that, not paying it any mind or giving it any importance. Instead, recognizing the opportunity there to just isolate the arising of the affliction itself and really examine its essence, really look at it, penetrate its empty essence so that it is understood, so that its true nature is understood. And then in doing that, if one is able to isolate the emotion from the cause of its arising or the trigger for its arising, then we see that it doesn't really have any real existence. It doesn't really. There's nothing really there, that actually it is it merely helps one to one is able to see its its essence as being the nature of clear light luminosity. And so, as Milarepa said, it has to be recognized as primordial wisdom right away. So from the basis, from the ground, there must be recognition. So this recognition has to be done early on when the emotion is first arising. If we think about how much we have become angry in the past, so many times, up to this point that we have given rise to anger, and we have not been happy about this. This hasn't made us, we haven't liked it. It hasn't made us any happier. We haven't liked the fact that we have become angry. And so based on that, also, we have done a lot of things that we regret. We have acted in ways that are really an error. And this is all from the fault of not recognizing the essence of the emotion, the empty essence of the anger. If we are able to recognize the essence upon its arising, then actually the defilements can assist us, and they can actually become helpful and beneficial. They can actually be of great benefit if one is able to utilize their arising in such a way.
Tani that naroba gusumba tardo yin matsor ngobo tokpar chi song. Ta chu tamje ge nelo de je sacha yimba rawo tang ne tang yimba rawo je gangni je chor goya tanda ne tang chak yo mare chu gang da gang yin jang korang ko ngobo tokpar chi song do te yin de ta ngarang so hedang lang yo bokap so yang tene hedang cái nhìn bộ yin chor mà go ba thế này hiện đang cái ngô thế là thế này chỉ ta này ta thế ta thọ ba ina thế này ransa trò thế chom mi song ba na yin ko hiện đang thế thế này hiện đang cái ngô là ta用的thế này ta hiện đang thế ko lower cái chama na yin chỉ yin du ko ransa tròn rồi là thế chom go go mari song ba wa thế này yên chăng thế này ngang cho ta hiện đang làm chuyện nhiều bà đấy ngang cho là hiện đang làm na thế này ya bộ mi bà thế này ngang cho chăm cái ha có cái nhiều bà đấy thế ta bà đó ngang cho cái hiện đang cái ngô là ta ya thế là John dar mà gì tạm bộ ha mà go thế này ha chúng sẽ có bà yên là yang John dar mà gì 다 충충 이제 배 충충 저 람바였나 제 소소게 간다 지금도와 수다 점양 제 많이 발디네 되네 다다바던 알아서 그다 해당 이용하는 되네 중다 논점만보 현도고요 바인자 다 말아서 그 같이 툭툭게 배나 해당 따위를 찾아봐야나 그런 거 올라타야 돼 토라 되네 존달 땅 Teni tele tesa tseg yaga zena nyamni nango jita karchin boris.
So as Naropa has said, without looking in some other place, without searching elsewhere, realize the essence, for like what it is, or look directly at one's own true essence. And so there isn't something to seek from elsewhere. There's nowhere else for where this recognition is going to come from other than the content and experience within the content and experience of one's own mind. And so in order to realize the essence, this also pertains to the nature of the afflictive emotions. So when there is a defilement such as anger in the mind, there's not the need necessarily to apply the antidote if its nature is understood from the ground, if it is seen right away, if its true empty essence is seen through looking directly, nakedly at the energy of the emotion itself. And then when that occurs, that is what is referred, one need not have any doubt that it is liberated in its own place. So anger being a adventitious defilement, because it is temporary, then there need not be any doubt that can be naturally liberated, that it can be that it can be released in its own place. And of course, we will give rise to anger. This is going to occur. The afflictions are going to arise. Rather, ordinarily, when we experience the arising of the afflictions, we feel that this is not obviously something that we want to avoid or we want to get rid of. But when the true essence is seen, then there is no need to abandon or to reject or to apply the antidote. So, for example, so first, when it arises, if we are able to, ordinarily we don't really investigate so much. We just immediately are trying to get rid of or to reject. But to actually examine, with curiosity, to look at the isolated emotion without fixating on the cause or whatever story that we're giving to the emotion, then we will be able to see its empty essence. And in that seeing, it is spontaneously transformed. It is really immediate. It is naturally liberated in its own place. When there's not this this direct looking, then most often we fall under the influence, or we fall under the power. We are under the mercy of at the mercy of the afflictive emotion itself. So to whatever extent we are able, we should practice trying to identify the essence of the afflictive emotions, trying to we can train in identifying the true nature of the defilements. And this type of practice is very important.
다 해당 지포마인바 소소라 뉴몬 강당 강기 강아테 그 요바이나양 데니 텐드 뉴몬테 페나 차도 이나리 도차 이나리 세나 이나리 단진 이나리 티모 이나리 소소라 강아 가레 그때 그 요바이나양 덴티 징고 텔라 타 텐다 난고 요바리 데니 ngô tela yen chormanyong bari ngô de korang chormanyong bari tenda insang je gu chang ba ke song barwa yeto nen chorwa mendo be da gu chang ba kong hma kadang ge gewshi ni chimbo tara gewshi ni chimbo jiri teni kong ge song bari yeto nen chorwa mendo be teni kordo je semchar muguso song do ye toni zone de Koran pena nyumon kanda kanyin jang Koran ke ngo nelo di toni chorsonga ina ta ngarang so kan ngo ta nelo de la tepa ina yang ngarang so ti nyumon de la trotho ya la kale khapori te ko nyumon ke ngo di toni
there's a kale sung komta komta there's a jopo do re te shi example shi to ne chua me pe de ni la song te je la go chang pa di sung pa di
go chang pa sung wa te char de la go ra
re yang char la de ni de chang ma la
ya yin de
ro nang okay
ye to nen chua man do be so tarong a te tang yin ye to ni chua man do be teni ta korsa ta norsa gla teni semchar mando song ta gains na ye chu korang ke ngo ye ne lok ti thoni teni ko chordu yoba yina teni ngarang so ge ti ge ne lok de la te pa yina yang ti ge ngarang so chor thog yo mare yin yang korang ke nelok di thoni chwa mayin ba lower ke jin sen na chor yong ba za ma do ngo de la de ni chwa la so ba chung da jawa yin be de ni ngarang so ge ting ngo de jang ne ngo de thola te ne nyam ni na ba yin na de ni nor sa tan chur sa la ke ka yang mo do de we na ngarang so sen ra jiang mo do sung je do da sung je wa o de yin zang ngarang so la nyu mo do cha xie dang ti mo nga jar cha do so so kare ke kable te ke yo na yang ti nyumo tiga rang ke ngo te la ta ne teni ne go yo pare se ngo te la ta ne to ba ina teni nyumo te ke ngarang so lo chung chi to ko yo mare ta na song go yo ro
asola aso kongta so It isn't just the case with anger. Really, all of the defilements are the same in this way. All of the afflicted mind states, whether it be desire, whether it be jealousy, whether it be greed or miserliness, self-clinging, and so on. The afflictive emotion itself, from the essence, is actually empty of any real substance. And so therefore, just as from the basis, really, there is no delusion, there is no defilement, because the delusions, the defilements in themselves have no real essence. They are just temporary obscurations, just sort of fleeting adventitious defilements. And so, as the Kadampa master Je Gotsangpa said, since from the ground we have never been confused, or we have never actually been deluded, then there is no real error or mistake to be worried or concerned about. And so from the very essence, from the perspective of the true nature, there has never really been any delusion. There has never really been the presence of, there's never the essence itself has never been touched by the nature of defilement. It has never really been deluded, and so from the perspective of the true nature, if it were from the perspective of the true nature that there were, some real sort of intrinsically existent defilements present, then there would be no hope of liberating them, of them becoming purified. This would be impossible. But by the very virtue of the fact that they can be purified, that they can be cleared away, that they can be self-liberated in their own place, this in fact indicates the purity from the ground, that from the basis of the ground, from the perspective of the true essence, even the defilements in themselves are the nature of intrinsic purity. So they are only temporary and fleeting. And so therefore, if the defilements are empty of intrinsic essence, and if they can be liberated in this way, then there is never any real delusion or error, mistake to worry about. And so, because there really isn't anything there. And so it is the case with all of the afflicted mind states: desire, anger, ignorance, jealousy, and pride or arrogance. Whatever afflicted mind state, if we are able to recognize its empty essence, then there's no fault.
Hedang jian du hedang gongwa de la du son ne tene mambo che ke chinke yore tenda nyamni ji tang to la tenda yin zang da mambo he goya ke jumsin ro cha ke ma do yin yang da pe je hyu ba yin na jamso ke Garland charam cha de du tene Take ma ting jungze ma deng no roa ina jamso ge deng den charam cha yo mare chue ran yin cha de yo wa tenda yin zang ham tsu zam ma do ge teni charam de jamsu na na xua yin ba ting ki re charam de ge ngo de chue ran yin ri ma do ge chue de charam ran yin ma wa o tenda yin zang ngarang choke nyomong kangda kang yin yang korang ke ngo de yi shi gran yin chuni gran yin de zama se ba ke ngarang chu chuji ke ran yin ri de ba re is Ta tindra inzang, ta ngarang zoke, ta nyumong kangdang kangjiba inaya, ngo te tajite karchimbo chade yore.
So as Kyabje Garchen Rinpoche is always telling us again and again, when an afflictive emotion such as anger arises, we must look at its empty essence. And so we've all heard this many times. We've also heard his analogy of the mind being like a solid, the mind of affliction being like a solid block of ice. And so to touch briefly upon a similar example, it's like if the surface of the ocean has temporarily frozen and become like ice, has frozen and become ice. If you just go a bit beneath the surface, when you really go down deep into the ocean, then it is a free-flowing water. There's a liquid there. There's water, and so actually, it's not ice. It's actually water, and eventually, the solid seeming ice melts in the ocean. It melts and becomes the nature of water, and so therefore, the essence of ice is water. However, we wouldn't say that the essence of a water is ice. So the ice is the example for the defilements, the afflicted mind states. Its true essence is actually water, and whereas essence is never, the essence of water itself is water, and so. The essence of the afflictive emotions is dharmata. It is a primordial wisdom. It is the nature of the dharmakaya. And so it is with whatever affliction that is present, whatever negative mind state that temporarily arises in the mind, its essence is the same. The essence is actually the empty essence of dharmakaya. And so it is important to recognize them as such.
Ta tindra ke namto ke ngo nyumong ke ngo te chong taba ina te ngarang so shadr labde ta tendala sung ke yobarawa shar tor zo no ko nyumong ba pen hedang dang control la ta ba gang da gang so so la te ji yong ba da nyam de so so ke ting ngo de ha ko so mai na de ga rang to lo tor taba o tenda yen zang ta ngarang so 그제 따라 샤더 제랜다 숨바나 긴 그제 던다 용톱 거 요리 던다 용월 시발라 드니 따라 곰거 요리 가장 공의 휴바나 인 곰바 마인 곰바인 숨바나 인게 곰곰 람나야 곰거 요로와 던다 연자 드니 던다 곰 소마이나 드니 다 뉴몬바 탐제양 이신 차르브 조스 차도 요바리스
뉴몬바 예시
뉴몬바 탐제 나랑서 이시 줄라 제버스 조 차도 요리스
So this is how it is with regard to the true essence of afflicted mind states and the true essence of conceptual thought or thoughts in general. And so we speak of a liberation upon arising. And so, for instance, with a powerful emotion such as anger or hatred, when it arises, if its essence, its empty essence is directly seen or understood, then in that moment, in the very moment when it is that essence is recognized, the affliction itself is liberated. So if the essence is seen, then the affliction is in fact liberated upon its own arising. And so this is the level which one eventually wants to reach, is this level of liberation upon arising. And so in order for this in order to develop this ability, we have to meditate. And so as it was said the other day, it is not so much a meditation as it is habituation, a process of habituation. So we have to consistently meditate and thereby habituate the recognition. And when this recognition is deeply, or the ability to recognize in this way is deeply habituated, then the moment that afflicted mind states or the defilements appear, then they become the cause for recognizing primordial wisdom. So they actually become an assistance. They are an aid or a companion to causing the primordial wisdom to develop in the mind stream, or they assist the recognition of or the development of primordial wisdom.
Hizar sitse sanje jawachi song yure. Te song du hizar kan la ta hizar zin ko ngaranzo ta jiktin dana sipung bo tam tsama teni sanje jawachi giri song rwa.
So Shija
labdita. Shibza
Rede hakosong Shija hakosong. The ini yang lung chen ga la Shija.
Sitse da chibz gan la yutse na wajiri yutse ke
Nalaso.
hiz kan la yutse ke sin sanje ke jawa chigiris.
That's all. Tini.
다 teni ngaranzo pen nyumomba tamje keang ngaranzo ko ngo de ha ko sumaina teni nyumomba te so tamje keang karla gurda ngaranzo ke ju ke hirap ngaranzo ju hirap yorwa hirap te ke nyumomba koran la mata ba che koran ngo la te yomba ina teni ngaranzo tor to ko yorwa.
So in that way, we want to relate with the afflictive emotions as companions to primordial wisdom, or as friends to the arising of wisdom, or that which assists the arising of wisdom. As Jigten Sungen says in the Gongchik, all of the objects of knowledge can be or become the activity of the Buddhas, or assist the activities of awakening, the activities of enlightenment. And so in this way, if the essence of all of the afflictive emotions is understood, then we are able to see from the perspective of wisdom, or the mind of discriminating wisdom recognizes the arising of the emotion, it identifies the empty essence, and upon that identification, the emotion itself is spontaneously liberated.
Tani ta lama gibi hini goma tanje ke molam na ndoa sonde molam na Duksan deni to towar sinjalab the sor. Tin to and deni to towar sinjalab the sor songdoa. Deni tun deni to towar sinjalab the sor so sonda mola nankdoa. Ta tik te tenengak. Tik Garland around so kitchen deni la towar sinjalab the sor the mola tam tin ruya yo mola rindo sanre. Jumsing kanisina tarate. Kechik chik zoksang je song kadawa ngarang tsu te jambar sinju nana. Te yinzang nyumong ba chaba da nyamda nyumong ba ngo tel tawa yana kechik tarang chorta ba. Tenda yinzang ta molang te tawa jik taba yana molang tun ruju yo pa molang ji rindo sam tenda sam ko yo tenda yinzang ta ngarang tsu tsama ke ta je te tola che nyamni naya ke rewa yus ngarang kungune ya kani pa kachi bo ke deba mayen ba ton tesa otop taya yin china ba ke chi tesa tanda chi taro chingune dana sanje ku chushi ba te ngarang so sim ko tola nyamni chin sem te jondar chi ari ma do ke看现开播那个个人直播这种嘛，咱就当个有嘛嘞，这个当个米呢，没不今天开始呢，说说这儿头个有嘛，这个说说让你些吧，不可能这儿头个没把人讲，但个说说让个呢刚头头跟别种其他人的，这样做个的，就当农民嘛呢。送去忙不头有人哈过有人，伢们只当哈过有人，得了呀这当呀个这话有。Tini tereng sarto ci anda kola keja sarto kongki na yang ten ta mantha yang teni jondar chuta zan naro jis
Gande keja sarpa yena kare chikupre
ta nyamni naro jis tereng sarpa sarto
that's okay
kongki ina
that's one. So, as actually many of the great masters of the past have composed aspiration prayers where they say, please grant your blessings that I may be liberated upon this very seat. Grant your blessings that I may be liberated upon this very cushion. Grant your blessings that I may be liberated in this very session. And so Kimbola says we could even add, grant your blessings that I may be liberated in this very same instant. Because as it says in the Manjushri Namasamgiti, or chanting the names of Manjushri, it is in a single instant that there is completely perfected Buddhahood or completely perfected awakening arises in a single instant. And so what is meant by that is that at the moment when the true essence of thought, or the true essence of defilement or afflictive emotion is recognized, in that very instant, in that very moment, there is liberation. And so this is something that Khenpo says he really has the wish and aspiration that we may all really understand this through practice, that we may have direct experience of this through our own through practice. It's not just something that he's giving lip service to, or it's not something that's just for like discussing or intellectualizing. It's really something to be directly understood through practice. And so he says, he himself will make an effort to, will really put these instructions into practice to the best of his ability, and he also hopes that we all, or you all, will do the same. And so the Dharma of the Buddha Dharma, is really to be practiced in the mind. It is something to be internally practiced and understood within. It isn't something that is really just to be explained with words, or as something that is to be left at sort of mere sophistry or intellectual sort of discussion. But if there are many words that can be spoken, and in fact, with all the words that can be spoken or explained, there's never any end. It's inexhaustible. But in some So it can be explained, on and on forever, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that real liberation has occurred. It can be spoken of ad nauseum or at length without really having a direct experience of liberation. And so it is really up to all of us to do what we can to really apply these instructions, to make an effort in the practice and to actually give rise to direct experience. And so Khenpo says it is his hope for those of you who have already heard teachings on this, many times. He hopes for us to, to continue to improve in the practice. And for those of you who are hearing this kind of thing for the first time, please, actually experiment with it and have, examine and actually practice in such a way that you can understand, or that you give rise to some understanding from direct experience.
Ta perna terrain katsa in natsa loso boke teni kanga mambo yore di kapse yang susola ngus natsa de mi pa yin yang hinang tang ngam tra yore tenda kapse yang hinang tang ngam tra go wang de ma shor bar hinang tang ngam tra di ngo la ta wata ta ji de kar chimbore teni ngus na natsa de ke sin de yongkin ngus na natsa de yongkin yin yang teni Koran ke Rabrina tani ta che nena tsati ke ngo te la ta ne ko karma chik dang karcha sumche zama to de mata ba yana tana la ta to ta jite karchimbore karchi jum sing karsen te ke na tsati ne tin de cha mata ba yana yang te che na tsati ke so so la nu hyok chongrun ro ya ke pinto yo ge yo bare teni ta tara te ta rang ke che nyamni ji mata ba yin yang ta chirtang ke ko le tan ji mambo len rewa yu du teni ko chungze tani ra che ji ta na yang ne ka ko sem te la pinto chembo yu zang teni o ta tenak to la na yang tamlan tin je de kar chembo res
Gongta, so ngo de natsa ki ngo tane karma sumchu la bimbe karma katse.
Katse tabtarwa so karma chigla de tamna de karma chigla de matana karcha yo karcha sumchu tsamse de matana de ngo de la ta ne de tamna de se pin ro yora.
That's all. Tene nyamlen den da cheme tubna tene le dang chin mambo tene ne kare la in kola
Tene
den da nyamlen cheme tubna
matana tene ta koya o dangala na cha de na song de le injury yaman jin ra wo yin da je ke da ko tra yung wa ro ro samna tra la tang tham na yang the so look sem ko kanga de ma chung ro tong to yo ro
so So, for example, in the world today, we are all feeling the impact of the current situation where there is, the presence of this epidemic, and many are getting very sick, and even for those who have not gotten sick, who have not contracted the illness, there is still a great deal of fear and maybe even terror or anxiety with regard to this illness and the current situation. So this provides an opportunity to practice in this way. So without just falling under the power, the control of the fear and anxiety, because it's a strong emotion, you can use it as an opportunity to really practice by looking at the essence of that fear. And then for those who perhaps have contracted the illness and are perhaps suffering from directly from the illness itself, experiencing sickness, then sort of the kind of the highest capacity is one in which one is able to actually penetrate the empty essence of the illness itself. So if you are in fact sick, then you can practice in this way, practice seeing the essence of the illness itself, even if it is only for moments at a time, so for like 1 minute, or if you can't sustain 1 minute, even 30 seconds. And to practice in this way, try looking or identifying the essence is really very powerful. And it will definitely have benefit in diminishing the power of the illness. So even if one is not able to cure oneself entirely from the illness in this way, there's definitely the benefit of causing the power of the illness to diminish, taking away some of its power. And then if one is not able to practice in that way, then to look at it to sort of change one's perspective so that one is viewing one's current situation of having contracted this illness as a result of karma and conditions. So when one says, oh, I am sick, and this direct experience or this experience of sickness is a product of my karma, it's a ripening of a former karma. It is the coming together of specific conditions. And so then when one understands that, and if one thinks through this suffering, the negative karma is being purified. And then when one can look at it in this way, then this also diminishes the mental difficulty, the emotional and mental difficulty. It diminishes the suffering, can also really greatly diminish the suffering.
Darong Beijing Baji Hubaina Chita Katsang Hiram Nimbo Hippocaus Hubain the Bede Young India Poyomara take Gahis Sipo Chami Baina Tibete Jartung a train Samsung. They can in a perna around so Simo Hinang Jesake Mupo Ben Hindong Rawaje, Na Ho Jin Tong Du, Hindong Rawaje. There, around so Hindong in Baha Mago Du. Then, Tang around to here and go Euro tell Hinang Jen go Euro. Hinang Jen do Tang around to T Hinang tell a retune, oh, then na Ho Roje, Hanam Day inside Samsung Roje. And Halam Day no train at the around so tell the Druswaina. Tene Kaduina or Tisachatel Day Osari, some note. Cortini Kaduina Tisachatel Lena and Simo Kadu Tisatel Simo Lena, the name Hinang Grace. Take correct la kuyusina, Churang Hinang Chisatel Rundawochi Drunepa, your Netrago Chachena, then your Tokuyo Maris. Ona Churang Ti Hindon now heard the Kare, but Churang Hakoyo Marhalam Denda which reading there. Churang Ter Junze go Devina, Nima La Sobata, Yamana Yinda Galo La Sobatan Rawachi Yuba in Churana. Nimoku Dawachi Leba Inatana. Then it Churang oh, take Hindon read was some Churang Hako was. Take Hindon read us a Hako at the Yam Churang Hinang the Garang Galandores. That Cap the Churang Hinang the Palando, the D. Gene Churang Tinatima Katse Yong by Inaya. Then and then those and Chonang Yongmare, Hinang Jigmari, or tell Hindon Yoba Zamadok. Halang Hindon Yoba Timbaji Sibara. Tendra in Zang Naranzo Hinang Amdra the Jin to cook more de la Tatabaina. Then Kaduina Yang Hinang to Kaduji Yung by Inayang. Then it did more de la Tatana, then it Tortokuyore, Hinang de Lamsang me, but Zotokuyore.
So Khenpo says that he, some time ago when he was teaching on the Heart Sutra in English, he gave an example, and he feels that he wasn't able to really clearly explain the example because of his lack of facility with the English language. So he's going to try explaining this same example again because it really applies here in the context of these particular instructions. So he says, say, for instance, we are walking around outside in the forest at night, or we're walking around, we're outside at night, and we become really frightened because we see a tree, and we don't really we don't recognize it to be a tree. It's sort of like a contorted and scary looking tree, and we in the darkness we think that it's like a figure, or an apparition, and so we think it must be like a ghost or a demon, and we feel really convinced about this, in the middle of the night, and we're just terrified. So then we run away. We run off, we escape, to like higher ground or, somewhere, we run up the mountain, we run away thinking, that we've seen a demon. And then if we run away when we have that experience of seeing something at night, knowing we can't see clearly, kind of sensing it could be a tree, but because of our fear, we're convinced that it's a demon or a ghost of some sort. Then we've run away, we've escaped thinking that there is a ghost or a demon back there, and then whenever we go anywhere near that place, we avoid it because we think that that place is inhabited by ghosts or demons. And anytime we get anywhere near that same spot, we start to feel fearful or afraid. And because we've run away, we haven't confronted our fear. So if we run away, then there's no chance to overcome it. There's no chance to resolve it. Whereas if we're a little bit courageous and we don't run away, then if we just wait a little while until sunlight starts to appear, or until someone else comes along and can tell us that that's just a tree, then or when the sun comes, then we see that it's actually a tree, and in seeing that it's a tree, then our fear just completely dissolves. It completely resolves the issue of the fear arising. But if we don't give it any chance to reveal its true nature, then we just remain always afraid. We always think that there's a ghost or a demon in this place, in that area, and whenever we when we approach it, we feel terrified because we think that that particular location is inhabited by demons. And so it is kind of like this with the afflictive emotions. If we just give the anger a chance by really staying with it, having the courage to sit with it, to look nakedly at it, directly at it, to recognize its essence, then it dissolves of its own accord. It is liberated on its own. And so this is... or not anger, he said fear. Sorry, I think I said anger, but with regard to the fear. But it's the same with anger too.
Tani ta ngapate mapangwa serchu ngapate karirindo hubaina doyu nyamto je chulu yimbe mapangso tangaran zolando bok yunti zog datero la sobake mambo yorowa nanda tamche tene nyamda topa chia ke perna nyamda topa te meto tabijina te chia la cho gondwa cho te chia la lu gondwa tina yin yimbe na mapang sonre nanda tamche sosoyang docha gi yong de churbe dancing gi yong de churbe tenin doyong yina yang tanda ko songo yamare nde soso ka samno to ne yang repair na mala repa ke sondwa gewa semla harwa na sondwa tene sado zihen gebe jo sonre je soso ka semna la gewa tang dara tasanga kalamni shubayana tanang rawo chi cha yombayina teni nansi tangpa ramjam song ja teni mada bachi ame ba chama tapu rangina teni dala zangi ta chanzo zone yewa yomarwa chama ro chi barwa oti na yin zang teni yang pangwar sawa mari son do yong la sa ba tani ta te zo sang don so so ke sang do nang ton ra len kdo
Gongta mila gewa simla shawana tini
sado re ta nga sado cho ha kora ta re la so ba tamje give just te tamje give you rindo so kandar so so same number ta na ransom number ta na tin yong so ba ta de ya se te ro ang ne ta ne marang so lo kang ba la lang go chung chung ma do go ma do then te ke kang ba ko nan tin zambel ka wa so na marang so zambel in de tambo kwa ndaw ka pa tom ne ja ka tom ne tin nga so kang ba ja go ma do ti ga la marang so kang ba chung chung de pa yo chan ne tin zambel in de kwa ka yo ya le ji ba rin do ka wa chin ba na te ji ba ro so so sem de tor chan zon de
Gongta te sa ya ko ma som kangpa gi te di kangpa house la gi we
kangba la de fit mare ngara sa kangba yo
oh okay
kangba la lam chung chung ma gong ga teni te kangba la lam chung chung ma de gong cha de teni zabel cha ma ko pa che ko anda wo cha na wo ka tom ya le chi ba re kan sa chema la so ba so to ma nga sa kangba
oh la so So then the next of these 10 things not to be abandoned, the fifth, says the desirable objects that appear to the five senses are like the water and fertilizer for experience and realization, so they must not be abandoned. And so when it speaks of the five objects that appear to the five senses, these are referring to the desirable qualities of the sense objects. The objects of the senses through, sight, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, and hearing. And And so, for instance, if you have a garden and you wish to grow flowers, you have to have water, sufficient water and fertilizer in order for them to grow. So you wouldn't want to get rid of your water, the sources of your water and fertilizer. And so it is with regard to the objects, the pleasurable qualities of the senses. However, if the pleasurable qualities of the senses become, if one actually kind of falls under their power or under their influence in such a way that they serve to increase desire or self-clinging, that they actually are the nature of that one's experience of them is becomes the nature of affliction, such as desire, then if one has fallen under their power in this way, this isn't what this is referring to. But on the other hand, for instance, as Milarepa said, if there is virtue, if virtue arises, or if one's mind is pervaded by virtue, or if there is virtue in the mind, then even the earth and stones and mountains and kind of cliffs all become the causes of virtue. So if the mind is essentially wholesome in nature, then all that appears and exists becomes a means through which greater virtue is generated. And so this is really getting at the practice of pure view. And so we speak of, in the context of pure view, all the expanse of all that appears and exists being the expanse of purity, the great expanse of natural purity, and so in that case, then one has transcended the kind of dualistic fixation with regard to pure and impure, or pleasant and unpleasant, and so this kind of a view is really dependent upon one's own perspective. So it really comes down to one's own perception. And so this is the way in which, through the benefit of generating pure view or pure perception, then everything becomes a cause for generating virtue in the same way that is expressed by Milarepa. Whatever appears to the mind is the nature of purity. And so it's like, for instance, using when one guards the mind with the perception of pure view, then it becomes like, the example of putting shoes on your feet rather than trying to pave the entire earth with leather, cover the entire earth with leather.
Oh yeah, then that tupade. Natsa dungar gewi hini imbe mabang song. Nandala ngima gewi hini nambak sung warawa. Nana nate nawe ga ngarsa chilengin zepayin sumbana yinke tinandung kan hubayina. Karsita lu la natsa la subas chonwa yina. Chipundosi. Kain sina jiwa ngama leri te lete le masabal tenen take yo mari sosu le sa yaba insan tara lete dan tebari ta te insan lete sosu tara mine teni tsendela mine lete sosu lutola musu nyongne teni lengin bata tano gori jipundo songarwa tina yin ke ka natsa dengha tamje te ta ta hiba ina tene natsa tamje gebi hini imba ris tena enza natsa pangoya yo mare songre.
So then the sixth says, the sixth of the 10 things not to be abandoned is sickness, suffering, and sorrows are like our teachers, so they must not be abandoned. So, for instance, there is the famous prayer from Jigten Sungun, where he says, if I get sick, so be it, I get sick and I'll be happy. And so the meaning of this is that, this is the attitude, behind this is that if the body it becomes ill, or if we physically experience sickness and so forth, then it doesn't have to be a cause of suffering. Actually, we can be happy because we can know that what is happening is that there's the ripening of a former karma, that our former karma is ripening. And as that karma ripens physically, and is physically experienced in the form of a physical illness, then as we experience the suffering of that illness, then that karma is being purified through the experience of its ripening. And so if we know how to view the experiences of suffering and illness in such a way, then they really become like great teachers to us.
Tada te sungkin te paja jiktin sunguinam jersey ngurchu tomi jersey ngurchu tomi yinam paja ngurchu tomi sarete sungkin te.
So I apologize. I said that it was Jigten Sumgun who said that, because that was a misunderstanding of mine. And Kimbola said actually he believes that it was Gyaltse Nuchu Togme.
Lalin soduma zamkin yo. Lalin soduma zamkin. Paja kong yin sayo.
Deni gande yang Gyaltse Togme rewa.
Kong la tomi hirwa kong lalin soduma zamkin de yin sayo.
So actually, it's the same author as the person who composed the 37 Bodhisattva practices. He says he's not sure. Actually, it might be. We're not. He might be right. I might be right. We're not sure. He's probably right. I don't know why I thought it was Jigten Sunggun.
Yeah. Teni da yina yang teni natsa tso gewe hini na teni ngarang so na go rewe samna tenga mare na yombo kapsu samno tenga tang top go yore mato ke yang kong ke kare son sina nawa mina mi de gas lusem dena gebjorn per so na yinke yang soso che lula natsa semla donga mina yang jibondo songre kaisina luda semte so debo redena yang sosoke chugewa tamje teni yapo drop to gondo songro tenza ta ronyon ba ndo cha do ngune ta nyamlin la ga te chi u cha de manda wa nga so to so chek to so ta ni ha ku che ha gondo la na da kenza ro je ri de ta manda wa ndoa da ngune sang ta na chi na yong na chi bo yo de ba chi lang lang yo de ba na cha mi na chi lang lang yo de ba ra ta to so chama nyam ni je ga la ji ri ma to ke yin da ke me wa zabel len de ga la ma tong sor ka che yo re la re hala ja cha gup chu some tene natsa mi na tachi do ganki nasa yu na tachi do maganki tan ra ro chi tachi de chi jo ka cho long so man ro cha na do de so nge chung ju ke chi ke mar de ma tong so gup chal sam hi ka se ona ja cha gup chal sam la yin yang da ngara so nyamli la ya de wu cha de ko manda ba hiwe yong de wa ko symptom ne sama ta wa yin
If we think about, these words of the great masters of the past, it really is a really radical statement, really, because it isn't the ordinary way of viewing suffering and illness. Ordinarily, anyone who experiences suffering and illness would not welcome it. They would not have this attitude like, oh, if I'm sick or if I am suffering, I'm happy. I'll be happy. And so really to have this kind of exceedingly virtuous perspective with regard to such experiences is really very unusual. It's a very very unusual, and there aren't many people other than practitioners who would ordinarily be able to relate. So these are really statements that are made by practitioners and understood by practitioners. If you think of all the entire population of the world, probably 90 or maybe more the guchu la imbe chacha guchu.
Garson? Gonda.
Chacha guchu la imbe. Guchu gogu.
Chacha guchu.
Okay, so about 90% probably would say, if I am not sick, I am happy. If I am sick, I am unhappy. But a very small percentage can say, who are practitioners, would be able to say that they welcome states of suffering and illness, that if they are sick, then so be it, they're sick and they'll be happy. And so this is because from the perspective of the mind of the practitioner, one is able to bring any and every experience onto the path.
Woman Jupana Sumbare Dawatapake Mase Tesi Tela Sumchar you song. Tinando Karisnam Mase la Duni Mase Bakapso Tene ta Kanzachigla Malam Tonkuyuna Pen Malam Hinang Sawaja Tonkuyuna Then Malam Tombabo Korang Tene Malam Tetang Ta Malam Kanda Kamuyuna Tini Hinang to Sama Yore Sonroa Tene ta ni de mase patesi to koran la ti hinang ta malam ta chama dimba to bangu ne so ke yuri sumana yinga ta ta ngaran so ke lo de chunhang yinba na cha dongha la so ba tam che yang chunhang ke wang ke chung ko yo ba ha ma ba kap so teni chama la te ke na cha dongha ngamtra tenda yuri tenda yinza ta ngaran so ke jamba ta hingi thone Tene tanda natsa donghar te manjong sho se mola shugda da gojatang. Tene natsa donghar yu deba thamje tene nyor da tra sho sen tene mola topchin da gowa ta tara kapsu pabde yori tanda yanza te soje hinji chimbo gone tsewa chimbo gone da mola da goyro ma to koranzo natsa to so neba thamje la chi thonchong da wa tang junju chia ge yo gang yo mare te rong ninka yo mare tanda yanza yang teha koko jo karchim bore
Tesa chi songbong ta ti changma ko yu mare de dambo dene lungten de yang cha chi songro nang te
yenda lungten de otsune mase zudini mase batondaren do mase tesi zudita mase pati reng do zujira mase tesi Tela ti malang tong do kinji kanza tela 숨차를 요저 숨가 요리스 가리섬 요리스나 간사데 코랑 요리 코랑가 산도양 안진데 요리 다네 나 되게 코랑나 민도야 금람 신앙진 금람 대 요리 되네 코랑나 신앙 대 요리 송 대시보 차송제
So sumka tesa sumka yoredi yapoko yomare
숨가 뭐요
dangar
코랑 nga samya kinjimba chi yorwa nga samya anjin te da chi teni koran la hinang yorwa ta mlang ka sense mlang hinang chawo min de yang hinang yorwa te yang dim baris yoris teni mlang la min do ya ke hinang jing ke mlang ka re gang da kan yin ja te yori te chama dim bare ka wa dim baris na mlang tong du ki koran la dim baris ko mlang na lo ni
So tampo nga jingyore nika shenang jingyore teni sumpa yapoko yom
ta nge chul pe chi lan shong pe nga
ta che gyore tata
pe na nga ni du gwa nga ni du ta nga la ti malam chi tang ge yore ta malam de hinang chawo je tang ge yore teni malam hinang chawo tang de nga he ke yore teni nga he du ta nga ni de ma se pa te si de nga malam nang de ni he de ba de ngu ne chore dim ba re teni ti malam te dim ba re teni malam minking ke ta pe na nga ta ba chi la nga dim ba re sama zumari labjo ma malam min de bakaps ta nga ni se o malam ri la ri ma malam na ni te malam ri nge lap to ko yo ma wa te tan chi pa re sung je ra ta si po cha song chi
Otsa yini yang tadung di sumpa di kande yo ba tampo nga ngune yore de nga den di yore dini yang milam di nune yore di dang shinang yang nune yore di chosum rewa
te som
laso dini gongta di chela yang char sang ma sunggo chakyo sare gongta
ale
di chela yang sungma
re yin de ya teni da jima te la ro ya teni da dumba de chigte la song ba
tunang ha ko hanata dunga namda tene natsa ki khola mambo song yorwa tene inje chimbo tene ti yapo ko mas
da nga te sun ju te so ya da tara nga ro ke natsa 등문에 리 산은 짐바 yorwa din natsa 등문에 리 산 짐바 teni tin natsa de ngala na song sang ya ken zimba teni tin natsa de la mundu ba ke chowa mede ba yorwa dong hawa chowa dong hawa de chama so so la de da tham ji dim pan ji din jin yore ti kap so teni natsa ke nu hyok de ke yore natsa de ngune ri chorang sa ba na yi ri de natsa de ngune ri natsa de dong ha ri natsa de ke chorang na dong ha te ke yore te dim ba re 다 냠리아 첸 톰보 라인드니 다 고양 다 희공도 희바나이 나차도서 나요나양 게미바 데니 제와 나마 글랭이 바도서 바 상로요 바 다로요 바 단다하 고토 그리 다다 나랑 저 대처 하 무고도 데니 다 나랑 저게 심진 탐지라 나차 동아 문화 쇼산에 굴론 잠보 제고 가르침보리 테니 나차 동하 나 댕킨 또서 족보 Trasho, Natsatele, Torsho, San, Molam, Top Chin, the Goya, the Garchimbori, Te Lavimba.
That's all. So also in the Madhyamaka Avatara, Chandrakirti says, for the one who is sleeping during the duration in which he is sleeping, if he has a frightful dream, then due to the fixation of the three, or the sort of, there are the three aspects in which there is real existence attributed. So first, the one who is dreaming attributes real existence to himself. So there's the mind of self-clinging. He attributes a real existence to his fear. So there's the fear in the dream, and he attributes a real existence to the content of his dream. So the whatever it is that is occurring, the frightful experience in the dream that is giving him fear. And so it isn't until upon awakening, that the delusion of the dream is resolved. And so there's when he realizes it was just a dream, then the fear disperses, or there is no longer the fear. And so in the same way, with the illness, or with illness, when one is afflicted by illness, there is the fixation to the real ourselves as really existing. And so there is, of course, the presence of the self-grasping there. And then that the illness itself is real, that the experience of the illness, that the illness itself, or the essence of the illness itself is real, and that the suffering or the discomfort, whatever the effects of the illness, the unpleasant effects of the illness, are also real. And so there are these three types of grasping at a true existence, or to true existence that pervade the entire experience. And so one's suffering is compounded in that way. It is just made all the more stronger through these three types of grasping. But for a practitioner, then for the practitioner, there is not such strong, there's maybe a diminishment of fixation, or these three types of grasping are much less. And so therefore, they are able to experience the illness in such a way that they can view it as actually a very positive experience, through which the negative karma that has been accumulated in the past is now being exhausted or purified through the present experience of illness. And even if it is not for a practitioner who isn't able to practice at that level, still then to think through the experience of the pain or suffering that one is enduring from the result of the illness, to bring it or to relate with it in such a way that one is able to generate compassion, so that then one says, through this suffering and pain or misery, may all the pain and misery of all sentient beings, may all the suffering of illness experienced by any sentient beings anywhere, all and any sentient beings anywhere, may it all be alleviated, may all beings be free from the suffering of illness. And so therefore, it becomes a way through the experience of that illness, through the suffering of that illness, one is still able to bring it onto the path of virtue. So it's really important actually to do this, even if one is not able to relate to it in the sort of more in the way that was previously described, to relate with it in such a way that one is able to really generate a compassion for the suffering of all sentient beings is so important.
Oh, thank you. May every being aligned with disease be freed at once from every malady. May all the sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. O sumjine ba jinye ba nyurde nele tajir jin rowe na na malab taden jowa me ba jo pama sumjin damje de dan denjer jin ro damje da de tomara chanjo zamba ganda zajo ba de da gunje molan ba jo. Yeah.
So we can take a break now until 11, and that is 11 Arizona time.